Yahushua Mashiach. Double honors to all the apostles that have come before me. And special double honors unto Brother Malcolm of the Great Millstone. He's out there in Chicago. I see him as my teacher. And I'm thankful for him, the work he's done. Let's get straight to it. One of the first book of Maccabees. If I can find it. Here we go. And this is how the keys got above us. This is the first book of Maccabees, chapter 1. Surah, or verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians, in Medes, and he reigned in the stead of the first over Greece. It made many wars. It won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. It went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. So this is how Alexander the Great got over us. And not just over us, but over the world. Or Alexander the Freak, or Alexander the Creep. He gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. After these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. And this is when they broke up that kingdom, and you're gonna have all manner of kingdoms come out of them, from Rome, Byzantine Empire, just a whole bunch of just little knick-knack kingdoms that came out of this. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, imparted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. And that's exactly why we got evil multiplied in this earth right now. Because the damn heathens have gotten themselves over the Israelites. And here we are today. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, Epiphanes, and son of Antiochus, the king, who had been an hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. And when you ask them who are they descendants from, you'll see many of them will say we're Greeks. Many of them say we're Romans. But we know through diligent work that these men are not so-called Greeks, but they are of another breed of Esau Edom. That is their heritage. Now let's skip down. Let's get down to where he gets to going. It says, and after that Antiochus has smitten Egypt, he returned again the 143rd year, and went up against Israel in Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar and the candlesticks of light and the vessels thereof, and the table of the showbread, and the powering vessels, and the veils, and the censers of gold, and the veil of the crowns, and the golden and the golden ornaments that which before the temple, all which he pulled off. They raped and robbed the temple. They took all our holy artifacts out of our land. He took also silver and the gold and precious vessels. Also he took the hidden treasures which he found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. Therefore there was a great mourning in Israel in every place where they were. And we know that the Israelites had been spread for this time. They weren't just in Israel. It was already in bondage, because this wasn't the first time we've been robbed. We weren't going to be the last, because we already know we were already taken, or Israel was already be taken beforehand. And now let's go into it. So that the princes and elders mourned, and the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. Every bridegroom took a lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. So all of Israel was mourning in this day. It was a sad day in Israel. But what happened? And what happened after that? We get to something that we see today. After 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collectors of the tribute unto the city of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. So they always do this. They like to speak peaceable words. We're all one people. Words like this of us being equal, that we know without a shadow of a doubt are lies. They can't speak truth, they speak lies. Thus says the Most High. I'll read it again. After 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collectors of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude. So first off, they didn't come to speak peaceable words. They came with a great multitude. They came with the army, and they sent their chief collectors, meaning they sent them to take taxes, as they do to us today. If you don't pay these taxes, what do you think he's going to do with a great multitude? He's going to bring your city down upon you. And spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given them credence, he fell suddenly upon the city, and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel. So even after they paid this damn devil tribute, they still smote the city and the men and women of Israel. They dealt deceitfully, just as the Most High said, thus says the Lord. They spake deceit, and they did what heathens do. Use that sword. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire, pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. But the women and children they took captive,